Lopez scores, and Bobby Witt Jr. puts the Royals back out in front, 3-1 in the third.
It's the Royals and Twins Thursday for opening day at the K. Coverage begins at 2:30 on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Royals baseball brought to you in part by Gleason Landscaping, Empire Improvements by Barton Community College, and by Next Tech.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
We have a lot back, and so does Capon, and so you never know who's going to pop up like we did last year. Never know, especially in 5A with all the different schools that we have in 5A. So we're excited just to get started.
To me, what this without question illustrates that this NIL, but maybe bigger than NIL, this transfer portal has opened up a whole new way. And for those coming into the transfer portal and NIL world, it said the rich will get richer. Right away, I said quite the contrary.
The defending national champions, South Carolina, stays unbeaten with a school record 36th win. And they are back in the Final Four.
It felt good today. Off speed was working good. Fastball, the location was good. Below the pitch count pretty good. Overall, not bad.
He was great. I mean, it certainly, I don't know for sure, but it certainly looked like the way they were taking those pitches, he was just dotting the corners on both sides of the plate. Looked like he had good run on his two-seamer. Changeup looked really good, so really encouraging.
I would say a number of teams have called on those players. But I said it yesterday, that it's not something we're interested in doing. I like the receiver depth. We're not a team that's going to be, this is the X, this is the Z, and then this is our sub slot receiver.
I do. You know, you gotta plan for all the contingencies for sure. But I'm pretty fired up about Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson is a great player. Lamar came back in great shape last year. He's fired up to play. That's the Lamar that I'm looking forward to seeing.
But at this point, if there was only one team that made the call and they were negotiating a trade, they'd be able to probably play a little hardball, knowing that the Ravens are in a tight spot and that he's a player that doesn't want to be there anymore.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, GreatBendPost.com, streaming on YouTube. Yes, it is the Tuesday show. Steve Webster with you today in a lonely studio. I feel like last man standing. Let's see. Hesh is going to be back here soon. Aaron Clark. We will talk to Aaron coming up in a little bit. He's going to do some softball action from Manhattan today. And Mike Corson's at the school board meeting eating tacos today. But Mike will be contributing on the show today as well. He'll be talking with Great Bend tennis coach Chris Manning. So there you go. And no fancy graphics today on the live stream. Sorry. I can't reach around that corner or over there. I guess I could get the remote, but then I couldn't see what I was doing. So anyway, we will plug on. Here on the program today, Cole Reif's going to join me here in the studio. We'll talk about Barton women's basketball, baseball team off to a good start, everything else. Barton, Aaron Clark joining us from Manhattan. Lady Panthers start their softball season this afternoon. So Aaron got to pick the games. I wonder why he picked to go to Manhattan. No, it's pretty good games today as Great Bend will be taking on Manhattan and also face McPherson, and then Mike Corson on the prowl today as he'll be visiting with Great Bend Panther tennis coach Chris Manning and the Panther boys today in McPherson. So spring sports season is underway here in the Golden Belt and across the state of Kansas. Let's get to our sounds the past 24 hours or so. Lyles Lashley, Great Bend Panther track and cross-country coach, track and field coach right now. Great Bend will open their season Friday as they go to Junction City to run on that brand spanking new track that Junction City High School has at their new high school. And expectations pretty high right now, especially for the Lady Panthers. Finished second in the state last year to Mill Valley. Well, Mill Valley moved up to 6A. So, and Great Bend has almost, I think they've got all their points back, unless one of the relay team that we lost somebody from last year, but almost all the points are back for next year, or for this year. So you'd think the Panthers going to have a great chance at winning a state championship on the girls' side. But someone else could jump up, according to Coach Lashley. like they did a year ago. But I know they're really excited to get the season going at Junction City. On the boys' side, sprints are going to be strong. Caden Sharman never did get under 11 last year, 11 flat or under, he was always right around 11.01, 11.02, but he's going to lead a strong sprint team, and relays are going to be pretty good. So I don't know if the boys have enough, but, well, a young team. Some of those freshmen will probably step up and score some points for him as well. Great Bend track and field getting underway on Friday. I mentioned softball team taking part today in that triangular in McPherson. We'll talk to Aaron Clark. That's up at Manhattan and McPherson, who they are playing today, and boys tennis at McPherson. Jordan Cornetti covers the ACC college basketball on ESPN, says this year's Final Four could be the new norm. And he's kind of like I was. Or when it first came out, it said all this NIL money, all the rich are just going to get richer. No, it spread the wealth. And he's saying this could be the new norm. Well, I hope not. I'm kind of done with the NCAA tournament. The Sweet 16 was great. Almost all the games, well, except UConn and Gonzaga. Man, great drama, especially those Elite Eight games, 3 of the 4. But I just can't get too excited about San Diego State and FAU. That'll be the first game from Houston Saturday. UConn will take on Miami in the nightcap. Championship game will take place on Monday night. And we will have the Final Four and championship game for you. That'll be on B1043 The Point. Coverage Saturday afternoon starts at 3:30. Women's Final Four set with one team's perfect record still intact. The call last night on ESPN South Carolina remained perfect. It wasn't easy. They were down in the first half, but overtook Maryland, and they win it 86-75. 36-0 right now for South Carolina as they move into the Final Four. Virginia Tech also advancing to the Final Four for the first time in school history. They beat Ohio State last night by the score of 84-74. Ask Zach Greinke a question. He's going to tell you exactly what your question was very precisely.
I felt good today. Off-speed was working good. Fastball, the location was good. Build the pitch count pretty good. Overall, not bad.
There you go. Greinke talking about his final start of spring training Saturday. Went against the Dodgers and pitched pretty well. 5 innings, 5 1/3, allowed 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. Mike Quatrero, the manager for the Royals, a little bit more in-depth on Greinke's performance, which was solid. Royals playing last night. I think they're about to clinch the Cactus League because, let's see, they were 19-12, and I guess you count that tie, 19-12-1 right now in spring training. Not bad. Now can you carry it over into the regular season because spring training means absolutely nothing. We'll have Thursday season opener right here on KVGB and 95.5 FM starting at 2:30 with the pregame show. Royals, well, okay, here's your starting lineup. And you can fit some guys in. Okay, catcher, obviously, Salvador Perez. MJ Melendez is going to play, whether it's going to be at designated hitter or possibly the outfield. He played a lot of left field last year. You may see him there. Edward Olivares is going to be another guy that's looking for time in the outfield. Second base, Michael Massey. Left-handed bat, Nicky Lopez. Is Massey going to overtake? Lopez is probably going to be the starter to begin the year. Massey's got a little bit more pop in his bat. You have Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop. Vinny Pasquantino over at first base. Third base, Hunter Dozier's still around. He's still got his contract going. You'll see plenty of Hunter Dozier. And then in the outfield positions, I don't know. I think you'll see Melendez out there. They do have Nate Eaton and Kyle Isbell. Isbell's another one of those players the Royals are waiting to step up. Edward Olivares, candidate for the outfield in right. Also, Kyle Isbell would be there. Franmil Reyes, who's shown some pretty good power so far in spring training. Your pitching, your starting rotation right now looks to be Singer, Greinke, Jordan Lyles. They got in an offseason trade. Or not a trade, but they signed him as a free agent. Brad Keller's still around, and Chris Bubich. Daniel Lynch out with an injury. So he was pitching pretty good in the spring. Bubic, I think, has been helped by the pitch clock because one of his problems was he'd adjust his hat, adjust his belt, adjust his glove, and he was one of the slower pitchers, but he has pitched pretty well in spring so far by just getting in a little bit of a rhythm. One of the good things about the pitch clock, you've got Barlow. Aroldis Chapman, I'm not expecting too many big things from him. I think he's done. He's had a great career, but who knows? We'll see it. He gives them a left-handed arm out of that bullpen along with Barlow and then everybody else, Dylan Coleman, Taylor Clark, Amir Garrett, who pitched well last year, Colin Snyder, Carlos Hernandez, another guy that's going to have to be increase his pace a little bit, Nick Whitgren, another reliever in that Royals bullpen. We had our little poll yesterday. Jim Mizunas, 77 and 85 is what he's predicting for the Royals. I went 79 and 83. Corson, 87 and 75. He's on the Royals bandwagon already. Aaron Clark is not on the Royals bandwagon, picking the Royals to go 56 and 106 this year. I hope Aaron's not right, but who knows? You could see it happening. We'll see what Cole Rife has on his numbers coming in when he joins us coming up in just a little bit. Sean Payton at the NFL meetings saying they're not interested in trading any of their wide receivers. That is certainly a strength for the Broncos heading into next year. Now if the quarterback can get the ball to those wide receivers. Lamar Jackson said he's requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens, saying the team has not been interested in meeting my value. Star quarterback saying yesterday in a series of tweets, of course, that he requested a trade as of March 2nd. March 7th, the Ravens put the non-exclusive franchise tag on him, said they were still hopeful they could reach a long-term deal with him. That version of the franchise tag allowed Jackson to negotiate with other teams. But no one else is really coming forward and saying they want him. So are you going to give him all that guaranteed money and give up some draft choices for Lamar Jackson? I wouldn't. Good quarterback, but again, shelf life for these new wave quarterbacks, not as much as it used to be in the NFL. Ben Roethlisberger, he's probably going to have ankle problems. He's not going to move anyway. So that's one of the things, you're the new breed of quarterback in the NFL, but a new breed that has a short shelf life, kind of changing the dynamics of contracts in the NFL. I don't know what Jackson's going to do. I don't know what the Ravens are going to do. They're not going to give him all that guaranteed money, or they shouldn't. You want to get locked up with guaranteed money with Lamar Jackson? And he's had problems staying healthy the last 2 years. And then Dan Graziano talking about the potential trade market for Lamar. If he's going to sit out, let him sit out unless you're going to get something for him in a trade. Okay, there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours. Steve Webster with you here today on Sports Day. Big news of the day coming out of Fort Hays State, as they're going to have a new women's basketball coach. Tony Hobson announcing his retirement after putting together a career record of 745 and 227 in 31 seasons as a head coach. That includes an amazing 15-year career at Fort Hays, 332 and 121, made him the winningest coach in Fort Hays State program history. Tigers, 6 MIAA championships under his guidance. He was the MIAA Women's Basketball Coach of the Year 4 times, also the WBCA Regional Coach of the Year twice, named the Kansas Basketball Coaches Association 4-year College Coach of the Year in 19 and 22. Of course, he played his college basketball, first 2 years anyway, at Fort Hays, not at Fort Hays, but at Barton Community College. And they coached 6 years at Cloud, was the head coach at Barton for 3 years from 97 to 2000, 202 wins as a head coach in 9 years as a junior college head coach, moved on to Hastings. Won 3 national titles. I think that's been a pretty good career. As the new coach will be Talia Kars. She has been an assistant coach with Tony Hobson at Fort Hays State. So amazing career, coaching career, 745 wins and only 227 losses. Barton softball winning yesterday. Oh, by the way, Gur Welbrock will be on tomorrow, so timely guest appearance for Gerard Welbrock tomorrow. Barton softball They split a doubleheader with Cowley yesterday, lost the first game 6-1, won the second game by the score of 8-3. Barton is now 18-13 on the season. They're home tomorrow to take on at Garden City, and we'll be talking softball with the head coach, Carson DeBose, on the show on Thursday. And Texas naming Rodney Terry their full-time head basketball coach, removing the interim tag after he led the Longhorns to the Elite Eight following the midseason firing of Chris Beard. So there you go, some sounds of the past 24 hours and our Tuesday sports headlines. Cole Reif in studio. We'll be talking about a broad variety of things when we come back here on Sports Day.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Attention Kansas high schoolers. Barton Community College wants to help you get ahead in your education and save money with new early college online savings. Starting March 20th, pay only $75 per credit hour on any Barton online course. That's a savings of up to $80. All online classes are eligible, including career technical and general education. Learn more at bartoncc.edu/earlycollege.
This is Suzanne at My Favorite Furnishings in Larned. The madness is here and it has made its way into our store. For a limited time, you can stop by and score a game-winning deal, get an assist from one of our designers, or run the point yourself to find the perfect reclining sofa for watching every game and get the matching love seat for 25% off our lowest marked price. Like a fast break down the court, this sale won't last long. So come into My Favorite Furnishings in Larned, find your favorites today, and feel like a champion.
Don't feel bad if you're not a phone expert. That's what we're here for. At NextTech Wireless, we'll help you in the transition to a new device step by step. Want to customize the screen? We've got you. Have questions about some of the functions? We're happy to help. You're not just another number to us. Come see us today and we'll get you into the best phone for your needs. We're friends. We're neighbors. We are Kansas. NextTech Wireless.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Reif on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Cole Reif with us here on the show today. Talia Cars.
Talia Cars. Yeah, I'm excited. She was playing about the same time that I was out there at Fort Hays, and so she was played under Tony Hobson, and like you mentioned in the bio, she's been coaching there, right alongside Hobson for pretty much his entire career. So, yeah, she's been there for a long, long time. So you talk about an assistant that's paid her dues, and now she gets the chance to take over, and I think pretty excited. I mean, especially you get some young blood in there, but man, Tony Hobson, what a career he had.
Holy smokes. In 15 years, what he did, 332 and 121 at Fort Hays.
Remarkable what he did. And obviously he's spoken very highly of, around this parts for what he was able to do in his short time here at Barton, in the Hall of Fame at Barton Community College. So, yeah, he always cheer for the Tigers, not only, obviously attending the school there, but obviously his connection with Barton as well made him an easy cheer in this area.
So who has the scoring record now at Barton?
For all-time men's?
Single game.
Oh, single game?
Because Hobson had it for a while.
Ebby's up there. I'll have to check on
like 45 was.
Yeah, I think there's a 52 now.
Okay.
There's a 52.
Because Hobson had that for a long
that.
time from his playing days. Yeah. Came back to coach.
Tony's still in the top 10 in a lot of categories.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow, he still seems like a young guy to me. But
I agree. I mean, he comes out there and he usually has those kind of like a button down like this, but he's like ripped out of it. He's real tight on his arms. You can see his flexing down. He always looked energetic, and but maybe just time's right for him to move on.
Mark Johnson didn't match him in the suit.
No.
Mark went with the suit coat, man. That's
that's Mark Johnson style.
Yeah, that's what you want. Okay, before we go here, and you probably were listening back in the green room, so you're going to cheat.
Oh, for Royals record?
Royals record.
Oh, man.
I
think you guys
board.
see it pretty close. I mean, I wouldn't foresee anything above 500. I think they're going to be nipping at 500. But I would agree somewhere around 75 wins. Sounds about right.
You're not going to go with Aaron, 56 and 106?
I mean...
But it could.
Yeah, I think this is another step in the rebuilding process. I don't think it's like, hey, the Royals are... I know a lot of people are excited, but there's always excitement at the beginning of the season.
Well, sure.
Everyone's excited at the beginning of the season. So I think that'll wear off eventually, but I do think it's another step in the right direction. I don't think they're there yet. When you're talking about Zach Greinke as arguably your second best pitcher, and he's pushing 40 years old, like how much does Zach Greinke have left?
You got Brad Keller. He's gonna emerge here before long.
Yeah, they're still waiting for the emergence of Brad Keller. No, I mean he had some good seasons, but I put him right around 75 wins. And I think that's optimistic. I feel pretty like, hey, you're feeling pretty good about him at 75.
So you haven't told Corson about the natural gas leak we have down in the basement, where he came out and said 87 and 75. You're not buying that one.
Well, he's probably the biggest Royal enthusiast of all of us, so I could see him going high.
Okay, so you go 75 and
what would that make it?
75, 89.
Is that right? Okay,
yeah,
something like that.
Taking off. I figured Mizunas would have his added up correctly. 75 and 87.
Yeah, that sounds
okay.
Like,
all right.
At least it gets up to a 2 number, like a 162. That's good.
Okay, all right. Let's see.
Yeah, put me as a copy on that.
Okay, very good. All right. It seems weird that just last week wasn't even a week ago.
Yeah.
You were in Lubbock, Texas. Doing a national championship or a national tournament game. Who won last night? I didn't even.
Northwest. They ended up coming back and winning in overtime against Trinity Valley, which is one of the teams I kind of liked, just based on what they were able to do. They played Seward County, I think it was right before New Year's Eve, somewhere around there, late December, and didn't play overly well, but they traveled out to Seward and played. But Trinity Valley came on pretty strong again. They were the 3 seed, so there's some expectations, and they played them close. They had to win a close one against Eastern Florida State. It was almost an all-Florida national championship game. But Northwest Florida State came out, and they picked up the championship. I think that's now their second in the last 3 years. So, that was good competition at the end.
Lubbock, was it a good site, good to host? I can't. You got Texas Tech there. It's really hard to believe that, the whole community and town of Lubbock is all fired up about this, but
there were a lot of conversations before Barton took the floor that Wednesday, like the Tuesday night before, amongst administration, just even other teams, on how the tournament was going to be executed and how they're going to host it. I thought on site there at Lubbock Christian University, it was fun. It was great. I thought it was really good. I mean, you go down from the scores table, where they had media lined up and situated, entrances and getting passes and whatnot. I thought it was pretty good. Media room, hospitality room was solid as well.
They know how to hit there.
Yeah, I thought it was good. The town in general, I don't think you're going to find more of a natural fit for junior college. I think it's just a tough sell in general. Now, obviously, a lot of people around here loved it when it was in Salina for 16 years. It's been down there for the last 6 years. Obviously, a central location is nice. It's just a tough sell in general. I don't care really where you move it. It's going to be somewhat challenging. So I thought it was fine. Lubbock, in my mind, I wanted to go check out Texas Tech's campus. So I did that the first night there Tuesday.
Did you go into Spirit Arena or whatever they call it now?
The basketball arena?
Yeah.
No, it was all locked up.
Oh, okay.
Because I was walking around campus for a couple hours, but it was starting to get late. So I pulled on the door at about 8:30 that night, and it was locked. I could see in a little bit, but that was about it. But so how many times did you go down there? A handful?
Twice.
Okay. How sweet is it though? Because I do like that it doesn't look like anything of an arena. You think about arenas, And that is not what it looks like. I mean, it looks like a ginormous Colombian mansion. Like, I love that, Southwest feel to the entire campus. I loved it. I love the look from the exterior. I mean, I didn't get to look inside, but I did get to go inside the football stadium a little bit. Yeah. They had those doors were more accessible. So I was able to sneak in there, and I rode the elevator up, and it went to, the only buttons, though, that
you got on the elevator at the stadium?
Yeah, no, I don't think I was supposed to, because I went in there, and I was like, I'm going to sneak around. What's the worst that's going to happen? Hey, get out of here? Okay, fine, I'll listen, I'll get out of there. So I went in there, and I got on the elevator, but the only two buttons that worked at that time were the level 4 and level 5, and it was club level and, the suite level. And those are the only two buttons that I could access. So I hit the club level, the doors open up, and they're having this fundraiser. as the doors open, and there's dressed up bartenders and waitresses and like this. And I just looked at it, and there's about a group of 4 or 5 right outside the elevator. I was like, "You guys coming down? You guys need to come down?" And they're like, no, we're good. Okay. And I just let the door shut again, and I rode back down.
Nice reaction.
Yeah, that was the only thing I had.
You just going to walking in there and just act like you know the place?
I was in sweats and a Barton t-shirt. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this off. So I went back down, and I tried to snoop around a little bit, but I couldn't get close to the field, but got up into the press box area, or the suite area, I guess, on the other side of the field.
Okay. So, and we had confirmation that there's metal armadillos at the airport, so that made me feel better. So, Barton, how do you keep this going now? You got 3-year players. You've got a lot of sophomores that contributed. So now the other thing is, okay, went to the national tournament. Let's do it again.
Yeah, I mean, because you talk about the last 7 years for Coach Clark, and the buildup was just to get to this point. So now I think the goals have to be refocused, and now you're thinking, okay, how do we sustain the success we had? Now, does every year, how do you get to 28-6 every year?
Yeah.
How do you do that? And I think that's going to be a challenge, but at the same time, I think he's at a point where the expectations are there that you need to be contending each season. So that's the cool part about the Barton women's program, and where they've established themselves and where they've been able to get to. Now, but you look at the trend of at least these last 4 years where they made it to the Region 6 title game the last 4 years, they had kind of a okay season, then they had a really good season, then they had the okay season, then they had the really good season. So this was the really good season. We're kind of on line for an okay season next year. Now, okay by Barton standards is still pretty good. It's 20 wins, 20-plus wins, but the year before this year, they went 20-13. Wasn't bad. They were playing great ball in February and into March, but 20-13, they took their lumps. This group, Morgan Myers' freshman year, Brendan Kirchhoff's first sophomore season, Jenny's first year here in Great Bend, they went 20-13. They got beat up in that first semester. So do you expect maybe something similar to that next year as they reload? Because it'll be an entirely different players out there on the floor. Even if there are some pieces that come back from this year's team, they weren't expected to play. I mean, the top 7 players were all sophomores that got playing time this year. So, but there's some exciting pieces coming back. I mean, Darby Smith got hurt toward the end of the season. Freshman from St. John. I thought she had moments where she flashed that she could, be a decent player in the Jayhawk. I think McKenna Vogel at a Pretty Prairie, I think she's aggressive enough that she could put together a really good sophomore season. Grace John was able to steal some minutes defensively for Barton in and out of the season. But again, just no players that were really expected to do a whole lot when your top 7 players that are eating up all the minutes are sophomores. So they're going to have to reload. They got the Brittany Simpson girl from Ellenwood. She's a big-time scorer. She was averaging 21 points a game in her senior season. So excited to see how that equates to the next level. They got the J.C. Von Lintel girl from TMP. She put up some solid numbers. She's going to play basketball and softball at Barton next year. So excited to see how that translates. I know they signed a girl out of Missouri that Coach Clark was pretty high on. He's got a couple players from Nigeria coming back over. So
it's the same recipe.
It's the same recipe, but it's just new. It's just new players. So now you're just hoping that they mesh well from the get-go and can pick up where they left off. So yeah, I think that's the next step is, okay, hey, you achieved a huge goal getting a national tournament. Now go contend every single year. Not only, hey, we got that fighting chance, but go get that 28-6 season every year to be in that position. That's the next step.
You know what? I thought John Onchus would win 30 games every year. And he kind of used that same that same recipe. He got some really good in-state players and mixed them in, but is he just bored now or?
Yeah, I mean, Onchus is so good. I mean, he can do whatever he wants at this point in his career, and you're not going to, bat an eye at it. But, I think the playing field leveled a little bit. I mean, it was before, Hutch would go in. It was just unfair. They could go into any Kansas home and just steal any girl that they wanted. And they still do to an extent. Like, they still get really, really good girls. But they could get anybody that they wanted. I think you're now starting to see the playing field starting to even out. Just, I don't know if it's a mindset with the players and what they want and their expectations, but you're seeing different colleges being able to offer them bigger scholarships. Those mediocre, those midline colleges in the Jayhawk in the past are starting to offer, similar packages. And that, still not competing with probably what, Hutch and Barton, Butler, Seward County are able to do, but I think it's starting to even out a little bit. So you're starting to see that on the floor, and we saw that, just even in the standings this year. I mean, there are teams that they gave run. I mean, they might have finished 500 on the season and didn't have a realistic chance of making it to the national tournament by any means, but they had players. They had players. So I think you're seeing it just a little bit more difficult to consistently get the name brand players every single year. And one thing that I've noticed in the Jayhawk, you got to have players that are focused and motivated the entire year. There's a lot of players at the junior college level that check out about mid-January, even if they're in somewhat contention. But if they had a few struggles, they're not putting up the numbers they expected, they check out. They might be All-Americans, potential All-Americans, and go in the D1 route the next year, but they check out. And so when you have players like that, and there are a handful of teams in the Jayhawk this year that had some big-time players, I thought, in my opinion, check out. That makes it difficult down the stretch when you're trying to compete.
Is this same – do you see any changes in – I mean, we've got this long conference season, which, like I said, is great, but I kind of like it. But then just what you said, we saw teams go, they got hot, they got cold. They got hot, they got cold. That's because it's such a long season, and then you win a regular season championship, and then, oh, yeah, okay, big deal. Okay, now you got to get for Region 6. Oh, you're going to lose there, and then you can go down and score 38 points in the national tournament like Dodge City did.
Yeah, it was a tough out for Dodge City. I mean, they lost their last two games of the year, semifinals to Coffeyville, and then losing.
But they did an amazing thing to go and put up that conference record, but no one's going to remember that. I guess it's just like regular college basketball right now, Cole. It's losing its sizz for the regular season. It's all about, March.
I would agree. I mean, but you got to be, we always talk about playing your best ball at the end of the season and whatnot, and I thought Dodge City kind of lost their confidence. I thought they, that when we saw them in January in Great Bend, and obviously even when we went out there at the end of the regular season and they made that comeback, like they just had so much swagger. And New Mexico was a really tough matchup. I mean, that was a former Seward County coach in Austin Medford, and he's got a really athletic team. That was a tough matchup. Anytime you get to the national tournament, it's going to be tough to win games, even if it is in the first round. But they just didn't look confident. They never looked settled in that ball game. They made a run early in the third quarter, but they lost their confidence. So I don't think there's any change coming. But the nice thing about that is that, if you take care of business in the Jayhawk, you're going to set yourself up nicely. So, like, everyone talks about the non-conference, and then we can switch gears, and I think it means a little bit more on the men's side. The women's side, I don't think it means as much because you're going to have 24 games against, at least 24 games against Division I schools in the Jayhawk. So if you come out of that 24-game schedule okay, you're going to be sitting pretty nice. So I don't think it means as much to load up a non-conference schedule on the women's side as much because you can play 6 games, maybe a couple JVs, maybe a Division II here, prep school, whatever, and still be okay knowing that, hey, we got 24 games. It doesn't matter. Like, we got 24 games in the Jayhawk. We'll be okay. So the men's side, I think you're starting to see it does matter in those 6 games that you schedule.
I know you were in Hoisington yesterday. Our good friend Blake Harris passing. It was, let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. What, the 4 former voices of the of the Hoiston Cardinals. I guess you're still one. Who knows what happens? I may be back on. And none of us were sitting together, so that just kind of shows how that goes. But it's just Blake Harris was, I don't know how you can even put into words what he meant to that community, because I think one of the things was that, he was 10 years on the Board of Education, and he was a board president when they had to go through the tornado. Everybody just liked him. He is he's the voice of the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
But he was such a cool guy to know when you're on those road trips and stuff. And man, I'm gonna miss that guy a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was tough. That was tough sitting there and through that. I think the best way for me to describe Blake is just a guy that liked to have fun. I mean, he truly wanted to do the things that made him happy. I mean, like, obviously we all have to work for a living, and money's important, whatever. But like, he wanted, like, the things that he cherished the most outside of family, outdoors. He was able to go on hunting trips consistently throughout his life. Attending K-State games. I mean, he would make trips, like, we would be calling a game Friday night, get back, maybe 11 or midnight, whatever it may be, and he was heading out first thing in the morning, like at the crack of dawn, at 5 or 6 in the morning, to get there, tailgate a little bit for a K-State football game that kicked off at 11 o'clock that next day. So, I mean, you talk about finding ways to do the things that make you happy, and then it made me happy that, he thoroughly enjoyed broadcasting the games, and he looked forward to that. And I never thought that, I told a number of people this yesterday, but I never thought I would meet somebody that enjoyed the whole aspect of broadcasting Hoistington games as much as I did until I met Blake. Because, like, I love my routines. I love everything about Friday nights, at Elton Brown, and I never thought I'd have anybody match that passion, but Blake matched it. So, yeah, tough one, and he'll be truly missed, because you talk about a guy that did so much for that community and just completely bought into Hoistington. That was Dr. Blake Harris.
That pretty much summed it up. I mean, his standing room only yesterday at the church there. I just loved his stories, because his hunting stories were like high pockets and green teeth, and the stories when he, tripped over the big rattlesnake up there and he had to take there, and then he was hunting and the bear ran up the side.
Or the one where he was on one of the hunting trips, I think it was in Arkansas, and he was trekking through all this forest and this tough terrain, but he put his gun down somewhere. And then he marched like 2 miles to get to a spot. I don't know if it was a stand or just a certain spot. He marched through like 2+ miles of all this terrain, and he had a shot. Like, he was about ready to go, and then he looked down, he's like, where's my gun? So he forgot his gun somewhere else. And then he don't know exactly where he put it, and there's terrain. It's not like you go there. I think it was in Arkansas or something like that. So it's not like you have it memorized like the back of your hand. It took him, he said, like 8 or 9 hours to go back and find where he placed his gun.
It's his gun or his phone.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a good story. I mean, I felt bad for him in the moment, but it was a good story.
And he's such a mild-mannered guy, but the only time I ever saw him get mad, I mean, he was actually angry because we played at Nickerson, and there's no place to eat in Nickerson, right? So, I mean, he's throwing the stuff in there, and he's standing around trying to help, but, the court... So that we got out of there and we got into Sterling, and we came around that corner. So we're gonna go to Sonic, right? And the Sonic's still open. So Blake's got, and he pulls into the stall, and when he gets in there, there's a sign that said "out of order." And then and then we backed up, and while we're backing up, they shut the lights off. Blake was hot. I can't believe I'm gonna. It was.
You didn't get any counter slaps from him, like when Hoisington would do something silly or they called something like during the middle of the broadcast. That was always my favorite. You would see like Robinson go down the sideline for a 60-yard run, then you see a yellow flag come out.
He didn't do that in any of those games we were reffing.
Oh, I'm sure there are a lot of them. Yeah.
He was in there. Yeah, he would. He was a great father. He's a great grandfather. He's a great friend. He's man, we're gonna miss him.
Yeah,
I guess need the Blake thing in here, but
Well, I mean, I haven't pitched it yet, but I'd love to see the press box get named after him. When you talk about 20-plus years, he started in 2001. That'd be kind of cool to see. I mean, I know they have Elton Brown Field, and they have the Bill Kimball track now, but I'd like to see, like, on top of that, maybe a Dr. Blake Harris press box, but that's in the works, hopefully.
I think they should park that green vehicle down there and just, that's never want to get another one. So this thing runs fine. I'll put a new engine in it and just man, love to eat, man. That was just awesome. So, yeah, I love that press box. Blake Harris press box.
I agree. And then there were talks that they were potentially upgrading it even before, and so now it makes sense that they do. Slap that name on there.
Guy loved his girls basketball too, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean it's cool when you're raising daughters, and you obviously get more hooked into their sports and what
he was
they're doing.
Good coach too.
Yeah,
he was a good coach. I got those, and the officials. It's just anyway. Cole, thanks.
Appreciate it.
It is. Let's see, Sports Day here. We're going to come back, and Mike Corson is going to join us. He'll be talking tennis with Great Bend High School tennis coach Chris Manning. That's coming up next here on Sports Day.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Ricker Seeds has been serving Barton and Rice counties for over 50 years. They are a Pioneer seed dealer offering premium Pioneer product. Enlist the power of Ricker Seeds and Pioneer for your operation. The knowledgeable team at Ricker Seeds will help you find the best solution for your farm. Give them a call today at 785-479-0135. That's 785-479-0135. And don't forget to like them on Facebook. Ricker Seeds, leaders in the field.
Spring is here. And if you're a turkey hunter, P&S Security, just west of Great Bend on 10th, has everything you'll need for a successful hunt. P&S has a good selection of compound bows, crossbows, and broadheads. P&S is a full-line archery pro shop with a good selection of bows, arrows, and sights. So drive out west of P&S. P&S Security, a division of P&S Electric, just west of 10th and Patton Road, Great Bend. Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson, joined today by Panther tennis coach Chris Manning. Coach, how's it going?
It's going great. It's game day, so we're ready.
In the spring in Kansas, you never know what the weather's going to do, so I usually ask the coaches, like the track kids can still run in the wind. When it's cold and windy, how do the tennis kids prepare?
Well, yeah, you can't predict the weather, and, if it's just windy and cold, they're not going to cancel the meet, so we try to practice in it as much as possible so that we're as prepared as possible when it comes time to play in it. So
the one big thing we noticed this year is your big roster, and you had mentioned in our preseason chat the middle school team's been helpful for that. How much is this big roster going to help you guys this year?
It's going to help us not only this year, but I think in the future years. The middle school program, we're really seeing the benefits of it with kids coming up with some experience already. And it's been great not having to start from square one with kids that want to try tennis where they take off in middle school, and I just take over the reins and kind of guide them a little bit.
And it's a big roster with a nice mix of kids. You've got 3 returning seniors, a junior, sophomore, and then a bunch of freshmen, so a lot to build with, you feel like?
Oh, of course, we have a lot to build with, and I hope that the senior class here can really step up and lead them and kind of inspire some of these younger kids to really be motivated to get better. So,
the three seniors you have are Brendan Schroeder, Jordan Manning, and Cameron Harbaugh. And Brendan is your returning state qualifier, and got some pretty high expectations for him this year.
that's correct. We hope to make it back to state, and then we're also looking at placing in the top 10 this year and coming back with a medal. So that's his goal for this year.
Then the one that you mentioned in the preseason, you've got a junior, Marcos Castanon. You call him the energy of the team. What does that mean?
He's always he makes things light, fun. He keeps it just real fun, and he makes sure everyone's having a good time. Make sure everyone's motivation's up, and if we're ever struggling or down, you can always count on him to make you smile and make you kind of forget and refocus. So.
And I know we're earlier in the season, and you guys are in your first meet today. Difficult or easy to set up a lineup with a roster like that?
It's a little difficult. I'm sure the roster we set today may not be the one that we have at the end of the year, but I'm just excited to have the opportunity to change the roster, compared to last year where I had 6 kids and I knew who was going where. So it's a nice problem to have.
And we're talking with Panther tennis coach Chris Manning. What is your roster today? I'm guessing Brendan is going to be your number 1 singles?
Yep, today we're going Brendan with number 1 singles. Jordan Manning will play 2 singles today. And then Marcos and Jacob will be playing 1 doubles. And Cameron and Caden Dynas will be playing 2 doubles, although numbers don't matter today as we're in an open bracket tournament. So all the singles will be playing each other and all the doubles will be playing each other today.
Such a young team. What are some of the things you guys work on? Do the kids come in pretty fundamentally sound, or is that something you guys are still building on?
Like I said, with the middle school program, they come in pretty fundamentally sound, the one that played last year. We do have a lot of first-year players, so the first week was kind of going over basics and setting the groundwork just to help them. And it's good review for everyone just to make sure we're ready to go and can build on some more elaborate things as the season goes on.
So you guys are in action today, and then you're already at home on Saturday, April 1st. How fun to maybe have some of those freshmen and new kids getting some action in front of a home crowd.
So it's nice that our home meets, kind of early. We get pretty good support out there, and then this year we're also fielding a JV team at our varsity meet there, just so they get some experience and just so parents can see their kids play too. So.
And I know once you get into the big levels, every win's important. It's going to impact seeding going forward. Is that something that you even worried about with so many new kids this year?
I try not to worry the new kids with who they're playing. That's something more that mainly just Brendan's going to be focused on as far as since regional assignments came out last week. And we kind of know who's not regional, so those teams that we play, that matters the most at this point. But everyone's just focused on getting better every day.
Coach, good to talk to you today. Good luck today, and Panthers at home next Saturday.
Thank you very much. Go Panthers.
More Sports Day after this.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Some of us were born to farm. Some diesels, like Cenex Premium Diesel, were born to fuel. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn to reduce particulate matter and keep filters cleaner for longer. Fuel your equipment like a pro with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and leave typical number 2 diesel to the amateurs. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive Viagra is available in generic form, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED for a fraction of the cost. And Hims makes it extra affordable. The generic form of Viagra has the same active ingredient, but is 90% cheaper. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/joy. That's right, free. Zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to medical providers online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. Then a certified pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to, and that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy.
You don't have to be a tech expert to enjoy the latest devices. Get a Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus or iPhone 14 Pro Max half off at Next Tech Wireless. Not only are you getting a great deal on those devices, you're also getting them with a great customer service guarantee. We'll help you get your information transferred from your old phone and help you learn the ins and outs of your new phone. Next Tech Wireless.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Sports Day here on a Tuesday. Spring sports season just ramping up right now, and the Great Bend Lady Panthers will start their softball season here in a little bit, over an hour and a half. And Aaron Clark will have the call on B1043 The Point this afternoon. Aaron joining us from Manhattan. So you found it okay? You're locked and loaded then, huh?
And I didn't even wander into Fort Riley on the way here. Managed to stay on 70 and get here. It was an immaculate drive.
Okay, very good. So tell me about this team a little bit. I mean, for this season, what do you think about the Lady Panthers softball squad, what they have coming back?
I'm excited, and it's an intriguing team we've got here this season. They have 3 returners who made all-conference honors last season, led by Annalise Rivas in the senior. She got second team. But then the junior Paige Sexton actually got first-team all-conference honors last year as a sophomore. She pitched very well and played shortstop when she got rotated out of that pitching spot incredibly well. And then the sophomore, Deshauna Bryant, second team all-conference last year. And the big thing about Bryant, we saw it in basketball season a little bit. She didn't get to play as much varsity, but we got to see her a little bit, Webby, playing in the JV games. She's just an athlete. She didn't always have the finesse to finish at the rim, but no problem getting there and splashing to the rim. And we saw it last softball season with her hitting. Just an incredible slugger, got a lot of power when she gets behind the ball. And I'm excited to see what the Panthers can do against two pretty talented teams today.
Okay. And, yeah, pitching is going to be pitching, and in fast-pitch softball. What do you think about that?
It's definitely going to be a factor for the Panthers. They lost Jordan Turner from last year, who actually has split the pitching duties with Paige Sexton. I'm interested to see who they have coming up this year to replace that. It's going to be one of the things I'm looking for early today. I'd imagine Paige Sexton would get the start pitching in the first game at least today, but come that second game, it's going to be some new blood ups for the Panthers, and I'm excited to see what Coach Minton has planned for her ladies today.
Defensively, what do you think about the Panthers this season?
Last season, I think some of their inexperience showed a little bit. They had a lot of sophomores on the field last year, and they just got out of position at times in the outfield. And granted, there were some windy conditions last season. I actually got the chance to announce for a couple of those softball games, and I can remember 3 or 4 separate occasions where the wind was just playing havoc with the ball in the air. However, I think another year of experience, another year just learning what Coach Minton wants from them wants from her girls, should have the Panthers defense looking on the up this year, where they have a lot of juniors who are going to begin some time, and still in the basketball season, a lot of hope from a junior class.
Okay, you've got a pretty good day today, so looks like it's you don't have to really break out the insulated coveralls today. Wind isn't going to be as bad. Tell me about the facilities there. It's where they have the state softball tournament.
it's looking incredibly nice. At first, I realized I'm actually turned around and looking at the wrong field for where I'm going to be playing in the truck right now. The view behind me is a lot more impressive.
Okay.
It makes a lot more sense this way. But we may not have any dirt. I'm not seeing a bunch of red clay stained buildings or anything, so it's looking like we may have some turf. We're not going to have to worry about it with the radio equipment. The facilities seem pretty nice. I'm looking forward to a nice day with some nice weather for some nice softball.
All right. Looking forward to your first softball broadcast today on B1043 The Point. Most important question of the day. Remember that this is an ESOP company, so let all of your workmates know. What are you having for supper tonight?
Ooh, I do have to figure that out because I actually know about expense reports now. I found that sheet. I found that form. I'm ready for it now.
Your Casey's receipt works just good, just as good.
I did have Casey's for lunch on the way here. It is a tradition.
Yeah, it is.
Broadcaster's special.
It is. Aaron, have fun today, okay?
Oh, I always do.
Okay, sure does. The Eager Beaver, Aaron Clark, joining us here. He'll have your broadcast starting around 2:45 today on B1043 The Point. We will be back, wrap things up here today on the Tuesday show. Stay with us.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Attention Kansas high schoolers. Barton Community College wants to help you get ahead in your education and save money with new early college online savings. Starting March 20th, pay only $75 per credit hour on any Barton online course. That's a savings of up to $80. All online classes are eligible, including career technical and general education. Learn more at bartonccc.edu/earlycollege.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back to Sports Day. I guess this shouldn't come as any surprise. Gene Taylor has been named the National Athletic Director of the Year. That's by the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics. I would say so. Let's see, the 2022 Big 12 football champions also had the basketball team. Well, he hired the coaches to get them there, made the Elite Eight run. They've also done a lot of other great things. Man, Gene Taylor, heck of a hire for Kansas State University, and he's awarded for today with a nice award from, again, the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics. Baseball, opening day, Thursday. We're going to have a couple games here. The Royals open the season against the Twins, and we'll have that for you starting at 2:30. I love afternoon baseball. We'll follow that up with a national broadcast, the Chicago White Sox playing the Houston Astros. So we'll give you your taste of baseball. Speaking of baseball, we'll be talking baseball tomorrow with Barton baseball coach Brent Biggs. He's going to be in studio. So talking about the Cougars, they're off to a great start, 7-1 so far in conference as they get set to take on Pratt in their next 4-game series. They'll start the first 2 games will be down at Pratt on Thursday, and then they'll return to Lawson Biggs Field for the final 2 games of that series on Saturday. So looking forward to talking to Coach Biggs tomorrow here on the program. Thanks to Cole Rye, fun talk about our dear friend Blake Harris, who we lost this past week. Back tomorrow on Sports Day right here on KVGB.
This is Agriculture Today, and I'm Samantha Bennett with the K-State Radio Network. We start today's show with a 2-part conversation on carbon credits with postdoctoral fellow in the Agricultural Economics Department here at K-State, Micah Cameron Harp. Our first segment begins with the basics of what a carbon credit is, how they are utilized, and what it looks like to take advantage of the carbon market as an agricultural producer today. In part 2, Micah shares insight on how credits are generated and the different factors that can impact producer return on investment in these programs. It's a newer market for agriculture, and there's still so much to learn. Also ahead, K-State dairy specialist Mike Brook encourages producers to start planning now for how they want to celebrate National Dairy Month in June in this week's Milk Lines. That and more is coming up ahead on Agriculture Today.
The American Plains Co-op Seed Department understands you're always very busy. It's just part of the agricultural industry. That's why the American Plains Co-op Seed Department's here to help, offering a wide variety of seed to suit whatever fits your farm. Team's always ready to assist you and will make the process simple and easy so you can focus on things that also might be needing your attention. Contact the experts at the American Plains Co-op Seed Department today for all your seed needs and watch your profits grow.
You could win a new Chevy Trailblazer Active from Sunflower Diversified Services Thursday, March 30th at the 20th Annual Chris Cakes Pancake Feed from 4 until 7 at the Prince of Peace Parish Center at Broadway in McKinley. All-you-can-eat pancakes, sausage, and a drink for only $8 at the door. Dine in or carry out. Music by DJ Kane. And you could win that new car at $645. Need not be present to win. Raffle tickets are only $25 each or $5 for $100. All to support persons served at Sunflower Diversified Services.
This is Agriculture Today. We are joined now by Micah Cameron Hart. He's a postdoctoral fellow in agricultural economics here at K-State, and he's joining us today to talk about carbon credits, which is a market fairly new to agriculture in the world that we talk about fairly